hesitate to share this. In ayahuasca group, when you're drinking with, say, a dozen other people, there becomes an element of telepathy or communication that can take place. And it happened that I was in one group where it turned out later, we got the facts later, that was one individual who shouldn't have been there. In ayahuasca, there's a tendency for you to lower your barriers. Your heart opens. You're very vulnerable to other people. And unfortunately, and this is a phenomenon that I would warn anybody of who's drinking ayahuasca in the West today, or anywhere as a matter of fact, is that there are people who are using that vulnerability to gain psychic advantage over you. And it was the feeling, first of all, it happened to my wife, Santha, who was beside me, and then it happened to me, of an individual trying to enter our heads and take control of us. And we learned more about him the following day, and it turned out he'd been there the year before and had done exactly the same thing. We didn't know that at the time. He seemed to have developed some sort of psychic power. And when we questioned him about it, he said, I'm this basement shaman. I go around ayahuasca groups because I benefit from them. And what he meant by benefiting from them was, basically, I'm a psychic vampire. I draw people's energy. I take it away from them. So these dangers can occur, and that's where a good shaman will stop that happening.
Wait, what did the ayahuasquero do?
In this case, he did not do anything. It was most unhelpful. But I think he's learned greatly from that experience.
But how does the ayahuasquero know that is happening?
Well, that's something where you have to tell them. And in this case, my wife Santha did tell the ayahuasquero, but he did not.
He said, this person is trying to enter my mind. They're trying to take from me.
Yeah. And there's a natural tendency to assume you're making that up as well.
And you're lucid in that moment. You're lucid enough to describe what's happening.
Yes. You can often be lucid during an ayahuasca journey.
You're speaking English to that person.
Yeah, you can be.
And the person who is entering the mind, is he sitting in another area? Is he hovering over
He was on a bed, not a bed, a mat on the floor, just 2 or 3 people away from us. And we were not the only people who he affected. He affected other people in that room, and there was a gentleman in that room who literally fell down the stairs from the ceremonial space to upstairs trying to get away from him. It really got very, very, very dark.
Did everyone confront him afterwards?
I think I described it in a lengthy article on my website. Yes, 2 days later he was asked to leave because he kind of said, I do this. I benefit from the energy of others.
And then what type of energy is he getting? Like, how is he benefiting?
Yeah.
In the case, I can tell you particularly in the case of my wife. My wife, Santha, and I are both the same age. She's 73 next birthday as well. But Santha looks a lot younger. I look my age.
You look great.
But Santha looks a lot younger, and he focused on her. He homed in on her when he asked her age. And she told him his age, and he said, you're that young. And that's when he focused in on her. It was like she had some energy, and she does, that was energizing her, and that was making her a fantastic grandmother and a fantastic mother and the most wonderful wife on the planet Earth. But she has that energy within her.
He tried to absorb
He wanted that energy.
Did he ask her that
energy?
verbally?
And she got... no, he did not. What he did was, at a certain point, when we were gathering to drink the brew, he put his arms on her shoulder and blew in her face, like that. Now, in Amazonian shamanism, the breath can be used for different purposes, and one of the purposes can be used for attack. They fire things called virotes, psychic darts, at another individual. Again, only people who've worked with ayahuasca will really get this, and a lot of your audience will not get this, and they'll think Hancock's a lunatic. But I'm just reporting to you what happened. Not only was she psychically damaged by this attack, but she also became physically ill after the attack.
Wow.
She developed shingles. She still has shingles as a result of that, would crop up again and again on her back in exactly the place that one of his hands touched her.
Wow.
Oh.
So it's just
Okay, this is great. Hold on. So there's a physical manifestation of an emotional and spiritual experience that she had. So if that can happen within your body, why can it not happen within anybody else's body? Why can it not happen outside of our bodies?
Well, I think it depends. I think it depends on how much you've lowered your guard. We're all on guard, you know. We all defend ourselves psychically as well as physically. But this is the danger of the ayahuasca state, that your heart opens.
So maybe there's an argument to be made for, let's say that there was this war on drugs, right?